Good morning and welcome. Calling to order this meeting of the Consumer Protection and Business Committee of Friday, January 16th, 2026. We just have one item on our agenda this morning. It is a public hearing on House Bill 2112, establishing an age minimum to access certain adult content online, a very important topic. We're going to begin with a staff briefing from Ms. Mulvihill. Go ahead, Megan, whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Megan Mulvihill, staff to the committee. As way of background, Washington has various laws prohibiting minors from accessing certain adult content, such as prohibiting minors from entering an adult entertainment establishment or from purchasing adult content. Turning right to the bill, House Bill 2112 requires commercial entities, including social media companies, that knowingly and intentionally publish or distribute material on the internet, and more than 1/3 of that material is sexual material harmful to minors, then that commercial entity must use reasonable age verification methods to only allow access to individuals age 18 and up. Age verification can be met by having the individual provide digital identification or having them comply with a commercial age verification system that either uses government-issued identification or a commercially reasonable method that relies on public or private transactional data to verify the individual's age. The commercial entity may not retain any of the individual's identifying information. Age verification requirements do not apply to a bona fide news or public interest broadcast, website, report, or event. In addition, internet service providers, search engines, and cloud service providers are not in violation of the bill for providing access to such websites as long as they're not responsible for the creation of such material. House Bill 2112 also requires commercial entities to display notices on their website's landing page and on all advertisements. The Department of Health must develop these notices to include information about youth health risks associated with adult content and information about Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration helpline. The Attorney General is tasked with enforcement of the bill and may bring civil action. Civil penalties may be in an amount equal to and not more than the total of $10,000 per day that a website's in violation of the Act, $10,000 per instance when the entity retains identifying information, and no more than $250,000 if one or more of the minors accesses material restricted under the bill. And that concludes my remarks. Happy to take questions.
We'll invite the prime sponsor, Representative Levitt, forward.
McClintock, members of the committee, it's an honor to be before you to talk about this important bill. I'm Marian Levitt. I represent the beautiful 28th Legislative District of Western Pierce County.
Madam Chair, thank you. So the question that occurs to me after hearing Representative Reeves' question is, will this legislation prevent minors from accessing prohibited material pursuant to this legislation that is provided online by non-domiciled companies?
We are going to follow up with staff. Go ahead, Megan.
My reading of the bill is that, well, one, the bill doesn't specify a Washington residence. I'm going back over. But a commercial entity that publishes this material must comply. But my understanding of how this has worked in other states is that it's not necessarily a company domiciled in that state. I do believe that Pornhub, for example, stopped providing services to Texas after the bill was enacted.
Yeah, and if I will follow up, I do believe that there have been companies in Texas that stopped offering services in that state because of this requirement.
Right, even though they weren't domiciled in Texas.
Even though they were not based out of.
Makes sense.
So
thank you very much, Rose. Cassie Clayton, please go ahead when you're ready.
Good morning, Chair Wallen and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Cassie Clayton. I'm testifying today on behalf of the Northwest Progressive Institute in opposition to House Bill 2112. We strongly support the goal of keeping children safe online. Believe we would echo that we would want to be involved in helping to create a safe online environment with the research that we have. However, this bill would not move us closer to that objective. Instead, it would significantly erode Washingtonians' digital privacy while failing to meaningfully protect our youth. HB 2112 requires people to prove their age using digital identification, government-issued IDs, so-called commercially reasonable methods based on public or private transactional data. Even when retention is prohibited, the act of collecting and verifying identity itself creates new points of vulnerability. Breaches, misuse, surveillance risks are well documented. The bill's scope is dangerously vague. It applies to any website where more than 1/3 of the content is deemed sexual material harmful to minors. This standard is subjective, it is unidentified, and it risks impacting educational, artistic, and health-related content, particularly for LGBTQ resources and reproductive health information. There is no realistic way for Washington to meaningfully enforce this law against websites with no physical or legal presence in our state. As an aside, I personally lived in Texas for 18 years. Happy to take questions and confirm that adult services being blocked for residents is what happens. Technology is used to still access that same content. Washington-based businesses would bear a significant compliance burden, placing them at a competitive disadvantage without improving child safety. Protecting children online is both desired and it is absolutely difficult, as we've heard from every parent, every concerned citizen in this room. Commercial businesses are not concerned citizens. So as you've heard in this testimony, there are better approaches worth exploring, such as requiring router manufacturers to offer robust, whole network parental controls that empower families. Because House Bill 2112 would infringe on Washingtonians' civil liberties while failing to achieve this stated goal that's in the bill as it currently stands. NPI respectfully urges the committee to not advance this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassie. With that, I thank the committee members for their time and attention and patience with me, and also just dealing with what I think is a really difficult subject matter, and striking the right balance will be the challenge before us, but I know we can do it. So, as always, thanks to our professional staff, and we are adjourned today. Good afternoon.